Okay, we are watching some Italian league, and it's the Coppa Italia, and it's Verona versus Perugia. This is from February 7th. Today is February 10th. Um, but I'm excited to watch this. Verona wins this, and then they also play Trentino, which I'll watch that as well because it'll be good. Verona is just going on a hot streak here, and I'm interested to see what it looks like. But for Perugia, you got Gianelli. He's running the offense. You got Lucera in the middle, the Argentinian middle, Bentara, the Tunisian right side, high flyer, Soleil in the middle, Kalachi in the middle, as the libero. Semeniuk on the outside and Plotnitsky on the outside. It looks like Ishikawa might be injured right now. Not sure. We'll see, but they both played. And then for Verona, you know what's going to go on. You got Kita getting the most sets, 25 compared to the next, which is Mojic with 12. And I mean, for Souza, he only got 11 sets here. That's crazy. But Micah Christenson run the offense, only 43 sets, which seems crazy to me. Seems low. Staffarino, the libero, set a few. Looks like they're both just setting Kita. But anyways, we'll watch it. Kita's probably super dominant in this game. Right off the bat, you see them playing games over here in serve receive. You know, with the new rules where you can move on the toss, that allows the libero to control so much more in serve receive and just contribute more to the strategy behind it. It's really kind of fun to watch. Mojic getting a good ball here. Look at the patience and then the acceleration through the approach. Takes a really nice rip. No, that's Christensen. Yeah, and he tosses with his left. It's an interesting one. Good pass. Reverse flow back to Bentara. And you see, I mean, he's so high, but they run the Italian setup where he has to run around and then get an approach. Which, you know, there's two approaches with this deal here. You can either have him go up front or you can have him run behind. I actually think especially with a player like Bentara who flies anyways, I like him going behind so he doesn't have to make himself an approach pretty much. Pretty much his run around is his approach, you know. What happened here? What happened? Oh, was he under? Yeah, he went under. Count it. All right, 2-0 right off the bat. And you got Micah Christensen hitting a spin to float on him. And look at how soft this is. Look at how soft this ball is. Right over top the tape. Drops short on him. Gets on his platform. Bentara gets another ball here. Kita takes it. Let's see. And Christensen just tries to fake out there. That's 2 touches. Okay. Let's see. Gianelli run the offense. Runs it to the middle. Looks like it's a really nice swing there. It's a nice swing. And you see how this middle just goes really high, and then he just gives up that sharp shot. And as a middle, like especially if you're going to go wide like this, then you don't want to give up the high stuff. You know, I mean, right here, what he's guarding is maybe the corners, but I would rather challenge him to hit the corners and then take away the sharp stuff like that. But hey, who knows? I don't know. I always like trying to challenge a hitter to be disciplined. You know, like, hey, if you're disciplined and you take the right swing, good for you. You know, but it depends on who you're playing. Reverse flow. And I guess not really fully reverse flow, but just kind of the move. But it's a quick tempo over here. And then Bentara just tries to go right beside Mojic. But Mojic reaches around. Does it hit the pin? Can't tell. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like, yeah, it bounces in. But you see how Mojic, he's balanced here. Even though he's only guarding here, he's still balanced and then makes a quick move. And you see how he just reaches around his outside of his body here, gets around the ball, presses forward. Yeah, doesn't try to do too much, just gets right on the ball there. It's really nice. And it's a really nice serve too. Big old block here. Maybe that's what sets them apart this game. And again, like they're running a super fast tempo. But against a big blocker like that, he's a high flyer and then he's going against a big blocker, the trick is not to go faster, because Bentara is not going to beat him underneath anyways. You know, usually he goes over top of people. Great block by Kita, presses really well, finishes his block. And Kita probably had another phenomenal game. He's been such a baller lately, especially with Christenson running the offense and giving him the ball. Oof. Right as I say that, swings low. It looks like this ball finishes a bit out, or maybe he's late or something. But then he just brings it down into the block. I want to see that blocker. Yeah, that's Lucere, man. Look at how strict and balanced he is. Then he makes a quick move and then immediately presses really well there. Like, look at that press. As he's jumping, he's pressing pretty well, but then right before he gets hit, he finishes the block even more. Like, I think he should maybe press a little bit earlier still, but it's still a great block. Floater, hybrid into the net. Spinner, nice serve. It's a decent pass, though. Obviously it's a great serve, so you're not always going to be able to dime everything. Then you got to go out there to Semeniuk. And I like this move by Souza because it's very simple and he's not trying to do too much, especially against a very smart player like Semeniuk who has a lot of range. The trick sometimes isn't to move your hands all willy-nilly because usually he's going to be one step ahead of you. So just let the defense react to it pretty much. Press straight on, make a simple block. Don't try and go too high. Don't give up space. One thing I was talking to one of my teammates with last night is if there's a player like Semeniuk who gets a lot of kills off of tools, if he's tooling you, the trick isn't to make your block bigger, it's to make your block smaller. Give him less space to tool you pretty much. That's such an interesting ball. You see how he finishes his hands there. Still spreads the block well, but it's just such a perfect ball. And I think Souza maybe gets himself a little bit too far here, and then he's facing that corner, but he's still able to crank it down the line. He still has that range on him, so it's good stuff. Then he's going back to serve. Great serve. Go on the right side here, Bentara. Yeah, and an athletic guy like this, I like the tempo on the D ball. I think that's fine, because where this ball is gonna go across the net is going to be lower when he's back row than when he's front row. So I think going faster on that tempo is phenomenal, especially for him because he's flying anyways. But look at how he just goes straight on and then just has to slightly adjust to his right, but yeah, he's still very, very comfortable. Yeah, it's a really nice ball. And Kita just gets kind of spread out here, gets kind of overloaded right here, running that one ball, forcing Kita to make a smaller move. I really like that. And it wouldn't be successful if this was pushed over further because then he wouldn't have to make a move like that. That split second that it takes for him to take that step makes a big difference. If he wasn't right here, this route is here, this route is here. That's the space he's covering. That's a decent distance. Oops, sorry. That's a pretty decent distance there, but he does have to guard both. This is primary responsibility, but still he has to guard both. That's a good amount of space. But if it's right on each other where, let's say, the spacing between these two routes, this guy, it's harder to overload this guy and get, a kill because this guy would have to commit on either one to fully open it up as much as this, It's just easier. If a blocker has to have two responsibilities that are further from each other, he's going to wait and he's going to be smaller. But then if it's right on top of each other, you're going to try to get one of the guys to commit. You're going to try and get one of the guys to jump fully. Kita, huge serve, tosses it into the court, and then look at where he contacts this ball. Contacts it so high, and yet it's still going right over top that tape. Phenomenal pass. Nice, really nice. Really nice run. Really nice turn. Great swing here. Straight past that block. That's in. Yeah, that's in. Spinner. Good pass. Christenson running the offense. Good stuff. And he holds those two hands up there. He jumps like this, and then right before he does it, he just throws it. And, he still gets such great hand contact, we'll call it, right here on the hand. Like, he gets his full hand on it so that he has all the force that he needs to throw it down completely. Semeniuk, good pass. Let's see that run real quick. And that's pretty much a no block right there. And yet Souza digs him. Just sits in, gets a scoop. It looked like no reaction here. He has absolutely zero reaction here. He's seen bigger middles. He's been in the Brazilian gym. He's gotten blown up a few times probably. So there's just no reaction, no stiffening or anything. He's still relaxed, and he's able to just make a nice, easy move, pop that ball up. Phenomenal. And then look at him. Look at that friggin'. He's a dog, dude. And then he's slapping the floor, getting him again. And then he does this. Oh, goodness. Good tip by Plotnitsky. Let's see that real quick from Plotnitsky's view. But, yeah. Great tip by Plotnitsky. And I like that he shows the tip and then just throws it a little bit. Either throwing it down or throwing it harder. If it's like enough time to where you're showing that hand that you're tipping early, throw it a little bit, mess with the defense a little bit more. Make him make another adjustment, because he started running forward once he saw that tip. Christenson, good ball. Good enough ball, I guess. Maybe just a little bit of a missed window. Still a good ball. Hittable, I would still say. Chop. Christenson, run the offense. Phenomenal transition by Kita. And this is what I like to see. Like, this is what I think needs to be so much smoother in the men's game, because a lot of the time I see that corner just left for both of them because neither one of them wants to go for it. And a lot of the time I would say that guy in the one spot should bite down on it, and then Kita can just rip to the D ball. Whoever's in the 6 spot can just go to the D ball. Just real smooth. And then he doesn't have to worry about not going. He knows that it's a responsibility. He can sacrifice himself, put himself on the ground, and then you're still a spread out, perfect, amazing offense, Then it's a great connection. Phenomenal. And they're having fun too. Like, you see these guys, they're having fun. Look at Kita. He's hyped up. Verona's just having a blast playing. It's fun to win too. They swept. Oh, beautiful. Let's see that block. Again, same deal. Super disciplined, easy money move. Bang. But they're having such a blast together, man. Like, it's fun to win. They've swept both Perugia and Trentino, who are ideally the other two phenomenal teams in the league. But dang. Oops. Sorry, guys. I try not to swear sometimes, but it just slips out. I gotta fix that. He might be over on this one. He might be over. If he's not over, that's ridiculous, man. Yeah, it's almost impossible to take him out unless you get him on the ground. Like, the idea is to serve him short so that he isn't available on the pipe. But man, like, he's still on his 2-step approach. A 3-step approach, I guess, or like from the knees almost, is still contacting it at 12 feet, ripping that ball with crazy range. Like, he's still available, so it's just not worth it to try. I'd rather my team bomb it at him, like really try and hit him. You got 9-14 in the first here. Verona's cooking pretty well. And Mojic hits a spin to float, and then Kita makes a big block move. And one thing, I was watching Stephen Marr before this, and one thing I think is impressive with him is, how he makes his block moves. He makes his block moves really, really aggressively, and sometimes you want to take a bit of a negative step, like letting this leg right here float in the air, contact here, so that you can make a bigger move with your legs, but still get yourself to the ball, so then you're not going past it like that. And Kita, of course, is still his chest is at the net, so he can reach over wherever he wants, and his arms are however long. But still, if you're a smaller blocker, let's say like Semeniuk or something like that, or even smaller, maybe Racine or something like that, you just want to do the best you can. Again, disciplined block move, not trying to do anything crazy, not trying to outsmart him by diving super sharp. It helps that he's super athletic, where he can still, just on a shuffle step move right like this, he can still get up pretty dang high like that. That's most people's swing block. I think that's probably my swing block, so that's sad. But still, phenomenal press, just simple. 3 blocks so far. He's gotten everybody so far. Love that serve. Love that. Love that. Aggressive approach. Contacts it high. Good contact, and it drops short. It almost forces them to scramble right there when you force Gianelli to kind of like run or sprint somewhere, Yeah, and if a guy is doing simple moves like this, then at least you'll know, like back to Semeniuk's perspective, you're going to know where he is. So you can say, okay, he's not making big moves and like moving his arms a ton. Swing super sharp cross, swing off the hands high, swing down the line if it's open, like very simple shots, But I like the choices by Souza here. Phenomenal run. Let's see the body language from Micah Christenson. It's probably beautiful. Yeah. Looks at the blocker. He's sitting there. Throws it right on top of him. And then he might be over as well. I don't know. I can't tell. It's hard to tell, but Micah Christenson's just beating the blockers here. And I mean, I assume that they're siding out on a crazy clip, honestly, like statistically. Hard to tell sometimes, just without looking at the stats, though. The game flows. Good run. And he's not trying to run that super hot fast. Like, he's just letting Keita get up as high as he can. And then Keita's just ripping it high. That's a great serve. Good dig. Who's this fella? Look at this move. He's watching the play advance. He's ready to move wherever. Takes a step. One shuffle, and then it's a split step into some balance, and just reacts and scoops it. Play goes on. Ooh. I like the idea by Gianelli, but that's just a good help by Christenson there. Such a good dive, too. To have the knowledge to just dive in like that, very, very nice. Very good volleyball IQ right there. Good ball by Plotnitsky. And then, I mean, not a terrible idea by Christenson. Like, I think this isn't the worst idea, against Semeniuk. But if it's there, like, if you can get your hands on it, I feel like he might be able to reach that ball and just grab it, And on a ball like that, if you think it's going to be close to your hands, where the guy still has to swing downward maybe, then just reach as high as you can, grab, like, get as much contact on the ball as possible so that it doesn't chip off and you slow it down as much as possible. But pulling your hands is sometimes the move. I'll admit it. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of pulling your hands too much, but I definitely think it's the right move sometimes. Good run. Good read by Rousseau. Pressing hard, diving into an angle. Very nice. Good by Plotnitsky to get in there as well. Just reacting. Let's see. Spinner. Mojic. Semi-in system here. They run a pretty fast tempo with that, honestly. Like, they push it pretty fast. And, like, they kind of expect Mojic to get outside the court and just cut it off in the air right there. That's a great swing. They keep that tempo. And I think what they partially do that for is so that they can air that reverse flow ball out. Like, if he had this semi-in system ball here, this ball would be a bit quicker, and the ball out here would be a little bit slower, Great swing by Mojic. Let's see. Semi-in system here. Plotnitsky off the hands. Yeah. I mean, it's a good slowdown. I think it's a fine move by the middle. Not a bad block move by Micah Christenson. Maybe he drifts a little bit. But it's just a good swing by Plotnitsky. Ripping it high, and it just works out sometimes. Let's see, deep out of system here. Mojic, patient. Look at that patience, and like he's moving so slow and patiently here, and then just accelerates right as he's swinging that left foot around here. Like right as once this left foot gets off the ground, everything just is as fast as possible. It's a really nice swing. Huge swing against a triple block. Don't be scared of it. You can still score against it if you make the right move. If you take the right swing aggressively or high enough, you can still swing and score against a triple block, Don't be scared of it. Sometimes it's the right move to tip or do whatever, but still, just don't be scared. Big high swing there. Yeah, like something like this, like he's going to push this a bit faster, but then he's going to air that ball out a little bit, and that forces him to take a slight step there, and then it just is even again, And then you're still pushing the middle as much as possible in this scenario. Great serve. I love that serve down the line. And, people underestimate a nice float serve down the line. He's out now. Pass is okay. Oof. And in the middle just commits there. And if you're really scared that he's going to set him, maybe just front him in that. Like, sometimes I feel like middles make that decision of, I think they're going to set the middle. It's either commit or read. But I think if you see a scenario where you're like, okay, he might set here, maybe instead of pure reading, maybe decide to front him at that point. Or maybe instead of committing, if you don't think he's going to set him, maybe just front him. You should have that kind of process, that delineation instead of just purely on when you see something happen, okay, it's either read and wait or commit. There's an in-between. There's an in-between, and that is fronting. Gosh, that's a beautiful swing. Holy high. Holy crap. He's up there just maxing out that arm swing. Very, very nice. That's the first set, ladies and gentlemen. Probably just gentlemen. I assume my audience is not filled with females. I'm not watching women's volleyball yet. We'll see. Someday maybe I will. I like how high he contacts this ball here with his hands. And yeah, that's nice. And Micah Christenson is just ready to go here. He's not worried about anything else. There's no other person he's worried about. But then he dives in, gets slightly tooled. I think it went off the middle. Yeah. And just that slight body language here, that high contact, and that leaning of his body made him just bite slightly. And then he doesn't press as well. And that makes him get tooled. That's Gianelli's point. Legitimately, that's his point. When I see a hesitation move on a ball like that, so nice. Yeah, they challenged it. That ball was in. Nope. Spinner. Oof. Yeah. And this libero, I'm not gonna lie, he's got his work cut out for him. Because Kita's not going to make big moves into seams. He's gonna have to. This libero's gonna have to make big moves into the seams. I like that run. Just swings out a little bit. They rip. They're a very aggressive team offensively. Oh my gosh. Jousted by Christensen. He realizes he's not going to win it. He gets ready to cover it. Gets ready for the self-cover. And then he got to put a free ball over. Good job, Verona. I like the move by Mojic. Footwork-wise, timing-wise. Hits a split step, balanced, and then he makes a quick, really athletic shuffle move. But then look at his arms here. Look at his arms swing around, get high, and then go forward. And because he's late on that press, if he was here just slightly earlier, bang, that's a roof. I would say here would be ideal. Then that's a roof, So it's literally, I think it might be just a miss by maybe 1 or 2 frames. Yeah, I would say 1 frame. If he pressed more a frame earlier, he would be fine. It's a phenomenal move. He's just got to press earlier. And again, like that could be because he swings his arms like that, but maybe just be quicker with it. I don't really know. I mean, it depends. It depends on what move you're making. I don't mind that dive by him. As long as this libero knows that he's taking line, I don't mind that dive. But then Christenson just runs forward right here. Runs forward. And yeah, I think Kita is taking care of the seam ball. And maybe this libero is taking care of some of it too. Christenson's just got to get deeper. Yeah, and they're playing games. They're playing games in serve receive here, but Perugia's still got some big serves no matter what. Looks like he just went out of bounds there. Tight ball. Overpass, bang. Let's see here. Spinner, out of bounds. There we go. Don't end your own run. If you're going to run, especially against a team like this, like if you got them on their heels, you got to keep going. You can't mess that up. Mojic has to be up there, but middle or the libero steps in. Stuff. Gotta just put up a good ball. Key to good adjustment. Takes a crazy rip on the cross there. That's insane. Yeah, and this middle's pressing fine. He just goes right on the tape. And then it just barely lands, like right on the tee. That's such a crazy swing, man. Keita's a beast. Everybody knows that. Yeah, don't end your own run, though. Fine pass to semi-in system, I guess. Whew. Yeah, and look at that. Look at how much he's, like opening himself up, leaning back, and then look at how his shoulder actually goes up as he's starting to crunch his body. Like it's here and then up like that, and then gets it off the hands, bounce it down the line. It looks like must have adjusted the camera, but 8-10. Let's see, spinner, perfect pass, bang, chips it through. Yeah, and Verona's a very very pin heavy team. They're going to get most of the attacks, but don't always go away from that. You can still win championships with that as long as you're using it correctly. Phenomenal serve by Souza. Right in the seam too. Gotta love that. Ooh. That's such a good overlap of it. Like that's right above the middle. Gets that middle to bite. That's what I'm talking about. And then it just looks like a slight misconnection maybe. Just slightly far. And I don't know if Semeniuk is too close there or what. Let's see if there's any communication with it. Yeah, I think he just missed that swing. Even if there is a misconnection on Gianelli's part, it doesn't excuse an error. Yeah, and he tries to recycle there, but I think he's just got to go harder and higher. You can't miss low with the cover, or else you just very much risk getting blocked. And you can accept some risk, of course. You always have to, but big block by Christenson, and that's many blocks that they've had so far. They've gotten a lot of blocks so far. Yeah, and Christenson only had 43 sets or something like that. Aces and blocks, and not only is their offense going to be ridiculous from Verona, but it just looks like they're blocking really well. Christenson's a phenomenal blocker. I think he's a very smart blocker. Keita's a huge, massive block. They're getting defensive touches, and due to their phenomenal pins, they're taking really good swings as well. But the middles are blocking well too. And I think that's more so what they need from their middles is just blocking presence. Because they don't need kills. Kita, Mojic, Souza, they're going to get kills, So let the middles just worry about blocking. Accept that role. Be the Dennis Rodman of blocking, I'm not sure. Not sure if that's who these middles are, but it looks like they're doing pretty well with it. Going outside, out of bounds. Christenson, again, pulling your hands, not even jumping on that one, but Stuff works out. Somebody might have went in the net. Yeah, looks like someone was in the net. Not a bad pass. I mean, it's such a good serve. The thing is, it's not fully his seam. Like, obviously, Keto, that's his seam, but it's still enough on Mojic where he will take it. And it looks like Keto just goes really early here. But the thing is, that mistake isn't like there's no consequence for it because he's still, even on that weird approach, he still is contacting it above the pin. He gets away with it. Good for him, man. Keita, huge serve out of bounds. Nusair, a little spin to float action. Love it. I love it. I love the spin to floats. I think they're such a curveball, such a change up. Messes with the pacing. Mojic rips it way out of bounds. There we go. Come on. He can still dime one of these, though. It's a good recycle. And look at how high this goes, okay? Like, he hits his hands here. You got to hit the hands if you're going to try and recycle. It cannot be the arms. The arms are also very unpredictable, too. Like, not only are the arms going to be angled down more than the hands usually, but that's a really nice swing right there, though. And with a ball like this that's coming from here, the goal should be to leave it slightly inside, which I think this ball perfectly is. But then the goal should be to just rip it super, super sharp cross. It's a weird angle, the triangle line, so just rip it across. What was I saying? I was saying something that I thought was decent and important. Forget what it was, though. But was it passing? I don't know. Whatever. We move on. Oh, recycling. Yeah, you just got to hit the hands. But the arms are just unpredictable sometimes. Like, it's a cylinder. It's a cylindrical object, so it could go literally all angles, or it could miss. It's just a weird one. So if it's a recycle, go for the hands. Maybe go for the center of the hands too. Mojic leaves. Oh yeah, again, presses late. He gets hit when he's still high, and then he presses. Unless he swings low, he's not getting that block. So I don't know. Yeah, and again, this is why I say that they're not going to need a ton of kills from these guys. You'll get a few kills from them, but that's because this guy is just waiting in the center, ready to go to the pins. And then he's just going to be able to capitalize on some open nets, which honestly, as a blocker, I think or not a blocker, as a middle, that must be pretty fun. But again, blocking presence, like just key in on blocking. Because especially with pins like this too, like as long as you're getting some block touches, you're going to be able to find kills in transition. Yeah, okay, it's a block touch. Weird one, but it's a block touch. Kita off the hands, doesn't get it. Let's see. Going to Bentara. There we go. Now he's swinging high. Yeah, it just hits the inside of his arm. Again, the arms are unpredictable sometimes. Let's see here. Bang. Whew. That is tough to stop. He's hitting it pretty dang high. Going quick into the angle there. Does he get faked out there? Yeah, and this is why, I would rather track his route with my peripheral instead of fully taking your eyes off the ball, because then you have to find the ball again, refocus, and then, I don't know, it just looks like it's a misread by Plotnitsky, and then he gets bounced on. He's late. He isn't able to press towards the ball, whatever. Floater, good serve. Let's see. Oof, hello. Spinner. Yep, that's an ace. 18-21 here. Goes at him again. Everyone's going to try and serve Kita, of course. Yeah, again, they're just going to be late. And the middles need to make sure that they're capitalizing on this. It would be really rough as a team if those middles aren't able to just score on an open net or a very rough solo. But who knows? It depends on what middles you got. Spinner by Plotnitsky. Yeah, and it looks like Modric kind of connects early and then doesn't make a good enough angle there. Maybe he needs to keep the ball in front of him more. Maybe he just needs to connect later. I don't know. It's a really great serve by Pletnitsky, though. But it's all about the angle, man. It's all about getting on a sweet spot and having that sweet spot be a good angle, 23-20. I like this choice by Pletnitsky because this is the obvious target, and he's gone at it a few times. He's gotten 1 or 2 points on it. I don't know how many. But then the adjustment is to either shift over or bring him in. So it's a great choice to attack that seam there. It's a pretty good move by the libero, though. Yeah. Gets him out of system. And even out of system, Kita's going to do something pretty crazy. Oh, they called them in the net. Oh, my goodness. Who went in the net? Oof. I think Bentara hit the net outside the pin, so that's legal, but maybe I'm wrong. Well, I know the rules. Maybe I'm wrong about where he hit the net. That's what I mean. Kita, decent pass. Again, I feel like he can dime this, but that's not his job. As a coach, I wouldn't want to make him worry about that. I wouldn't want to be on him about passing because that's not his job. That's not his job. Obviously, he needs to do a good enough job to where it's not a liability. But if he passes it on the 10-foot line and then still gets a kill, I do not care, man. As long as he's doing the offensive job that he's required, Ooh, good little adjustment here by Bentara. Throws it towards the block again. He's missing it high off the hands, and these are some weird balls to try and cover on defense too, where it's just a small touch by the block, soft, and then boom. Because that ball's not going high. It's going to be a weird soft touch off of it. That's why it's okay if you're recycling. It's okay to miss high. It's okay to miss over top. If you really want to hedge your bets, you can go towards an angle where there's space behind the block and also go for the hands if there's an angle available like that. But it just depends. Yeah, I don't think the speed when Bentara's front row like that, I don't think it's worth it to go super fast with him. Against some blockers it is, because against some teams it's going to be nice, but a semi-insistent ball like this, no. Get him a bit higher, let him go OT, because that block is going to, this blocker is going to get there at some point. Yeah, it's a great block though. See it. Split step, quick move, press. And of course, he's required to make a quicker move because of the tempo. But then Bentara isn't able to do his thing. His thing is not quick underneath the block. His thing is going over top of everybody. He jumps insanely high. Really good serve. Look at that thing move. Just a great pass by Semeniuk. Nice pass. Really nice pass. Now, if Semeniuk was passing bad, then I'd be like, dude, you need to pass. Figure that out. Because that's part of his job. For sure. Part of Kita's role is not to pass. Yeah. But obviously you guys understand that Kita does need to pass good enough. If he's getting aced every time, yeah, I don't want him on the court. Good ball. And I like how Christenson's still keeping him involved, keeping these middles involved. Because again, Lucer is reading. That's the right choice. Make the right choice, if the middle's reading, don't be like, these middles aren't scoring yet. Make sure, find a way to get them involved, Yeah, really nice. And Lucer just takes it to a nice angle. I honestly don't mind the block by the middle, the Verona middle. Sousa wants the ace. Because he dives his hands into a nice angle there. But, yeah, and you see how Kita gets a really big angle here. Ball's coming from really far over. He gets a big angle. And again, just looks for the cross and does it with a tip, actually. So, triple blocks up there. This is where the space is. Go for it. Bang. Yeah, it's nice. Let's see here. Huge serve again by Souza. Souza is contributing really nicely from the service line here. Yeah, big swing. And he's swinging deep. He's not trying to bounce balls. Like you're on a fun team like this, a lot of guys will kind of sink into the lure of trying to go for highlights. But dude, it's so much better to just continue flowing and win games by doing the right thing. Like winning is so much more fun than getting a few cool highlights and then not winning. Really good dunk by Christenson here. Bang. And now that Luceri's more focused on the middle and ready to be up for it, bang, throws it into it. And I like that he still goes, like the middle's right in front of him here, so he throws it into this angle, like throws it towards behind him. I love the choice by him. It's really nice. Holy, big serve. That's a really big serve. And then Mojic gets up there, hits it. Lefty too, ambidextrous. Or should I say amphibious? Big serve, huge serve. Goodness gracious. Yeah, let's see. Spin, or no, what am I saying? Semi-in system, sorry. And you see, like this is something that I think looks uncomfortable. Look at how Semeniuk's not taking a big angle, and then he has to like jump there and kind of like lean back a bit. And it looks like he takes a swing out of bounds. Yeah, takes a swing out of bounds. But again, like him approaching there, all of his momentum is going that way, and then it's actually going away. Like it's slightly going that way. So that cross just isn't comfortable at that point. Like make it easy for yourself. Hedge your bets, make it easy for yourself. Bentara keeps the ball alive. Ball's still alive. Oh my gosh. Perugia is just all out of sorts here. It's honestly crazy to see. Like last year, Perugia was probably the greatest team in the world, one of the greatest teams in the world. And now they're just out of sorts, man. Making some weird errors, making some odd errors that are not usually made by them. Again, just kick yourself out further. Like get an angle. Unless Gianelli's going to put this ball super far inside. But again, like he's approaching there, and that's the comfortable swing. And that's exactly what results from a comfortable swing that is aimed towards the 6, It's just soft block if you're doing that. And he's really using these middles now because everybody's focused on Mojic, Kita, and Souza. Christenson is just playing a phenomenal game here. Let's see. And like obviously, like you're gonna have to set these guys anyways, so he's not overdoing it. Oof. But again, look at the angle that Mojic works to get here. And that line is available. He just cuts it a little bit too far. That's all. We got 16-12 for Verona. Well, 17-12 now. Spinner, big spin into the net, sadly. Yeah, and then you see, so this is the other option, is that Souza runs along the net here. But I actually like that he runs there. And it's actually, like, it's a high enough toss where he can go there without worrying about being in his way. So I like that a lot, actually. Let's see. Mojic gets that. Ball's up. Kita on 2. Again, he gets a great angle. Takes a really aggressive high swing. Christenson throws it high. Kita takes it on 2. Turns into a freak out. Ball's up, though. Ball's up. Good for him. Good for them to chase that down. But then something crazy's coming back at you. Yeah. And I mean, this move here, him, like, I think it's Solé or Rousseau. I don't remember. But him, like, faking out, and then he's late over here anyways. So if you're going to try and fake him, I don't even know, like, I wouldn't worry about it too much. He does it early, but then he sells himself out still. So it's not even like a full fake. Like if he didn't fully sell himself out by being so high afterward and then not being available. Like, he's almost not available and ready for anything there. But then Plotnitsky just gets OT'd there anyways. What are you going to do? It's not the middle's fault there. That's for sure. Honestly, I wouldn't even blame Plotnitsky. He just gets OT'd. That's just a crazy swing, man. Bang. Okay, ball's alive. That's a fine touch by Gianelli and the boys. And them. Gianelli and them. Floater. Good pass. Bang. Yeah, now they're committing on the middle. Dude still scores. It's still only a one-on-one. Like, those pins are not going to help. Almost never are they going to help. Oof. Gianelli, good run. Good grab. Again, full hand on the ball. Just palms it and throws it. Just as quickly as you can throw it. Like, power tip, not just a quick touch, you know? It's a throw. Bang. Souza, man. Souza. And he just OT'd him, so that sharp cross is going to be very much available. And look at how much he, like, convulses. Okay, he's there, but then once he's going, his entire body is just ripping through. Yeah, beautiful. 15-20. Good serve. Yeah, but then this is where it works. But that requires it to get right in front of his right arm. That's not even a full swing like that. Libero, if he doesn't sell out like that, then he can probably get that ball. And he's not too happy about that. Yeah, but whatever. Spinner by Plotnitsky. Way to contact it high. Really nice. Yeah, that's so impressive. Bang. Deep corner, OT. Nobody's touching that, dude. That's incredible. Just Kita does so many things that it's just like, okay, there's nothing to do about that. There's just absolutely nothing to do about that. He's the Shaq. He's the Shaq of volleyball right now, dude. Yeah, it just gets tooled. I want to see why. Sometimes they just go slightly more. Blockers always at a disadvantage. It's tough. It's still frustrating. It doesn't change the fact that you want to block that ball, but it's just understandably you're always at a disadvantage. And I think coaches mostly understand that as well. It's a great swing, but not always. Yeah. And I mean, when I say blockers are at a disadvantage, I mean when you're up in the air like this. You know, like you're at a disadvantage here. Oof. He's a little bit mad about not getting the dig, it looks like. Let's see. Spin to float by Christenson. Good move. I like the aggression with his feet here. Makes a big move, continues through, pops it high. Middle's available there, but yeah. And I like Gianelli's choice there to reverse that flow. It gets a really nice one-on-one. And then Bentar is able to rip it to the cross. Well, we got 24-19. Oh my gosh, and he finishes off with an ace. Let's see that serve real quick. Gosh, in the seam, cutting to here, cutting back to Plotnitsky. Not a normal cut. Huge serve. Let's see how he contacts it too. Aggressive, high, cuts it with a little thumb down. That's nasty. Absolutely nasty here. What a game. Verona's nice. Thanks for watching, guys.